Welcome to Discovery! Roll the intro, please. Welcome back to another episode of Discovery. There have been some brilliant releases this week and we're here for it. We're diving into some thrash metal, heavy metal, and of course black metal with new releases from Horna and Winterfylleth, Satan, and more. It's going to be an action-packed show, so before I start, let me know what you discovered. Yes, you that's watching me discovered down below, whether new or old. And let's start. The UK black metal band Winterfylleth graced us with their new album, The Imperious Horizon, on September 13th through Candlelight Records. Take a listen. I'm just going to say it now, this album is brilliant, atmospheric, ominous black metal. Winterfylleth has always impressed me with their melodies, and this album is no fucking different. I had the privilege of seeing Winterfylleth earlier this year, and they were amazing. Saw them in Incineration Fest in London. Who would have thought a group of middle-aged men would be able to produce such amazing black metal? Chris Norton's vocals on this album are vicious as ever. He utilizes those shrieks in an emotional way, making every song on this album sound electrifying and epic. The production is very good. It doesn't sound overproduced. There's still a lot of grit and distortion within the album. At times it sounds very raw, especially with Chris's vocals leading the charge. I love the tone of the drums on this album, and every song has a great conclusion. It builds to a climax that you will not be disappointed in. No, you will not be disappointed. Mark Deeks on the keys does a terrific job of enhancing the atmosphere. I saw him perform live, and he must be one of the happiest and most into the songs. You can tell black metal bleeds through him. This is not a subtle album. It's quite heavy and could crush anything that Whitechapel would do. I'm serious here. This album is like a war of sound at times. The guitar melodies by Russell Dobson are exceptional. He's able to create infectious guitar riffs and melodies that will get stuck in your head. However, there is a small issue with this record. One song I'm torn about is In Silent Grace. The melodies are great, and this slower song by Winterfylleth has vocals with a cleaner edge to them, more like yelling than black metal vocals. They do change throughout the song, but if the vocals were like that throughout the entire album, I would fucking turn it off. His vocals on In Silent Grace aren't great. His vocals can get in the bin on that song. On the other hand, the rest of the songs are epic and majestic in tone, like Bring Fire is a fantastic way to kick off the album. I love the 90s feel in The Majesty of the Night Sky, which is an Emperor cover, but they do it so well. The Insurrection is more like a close off the album. The Imperious Horizon has an epic climax to it. To the Edge of Tyranny is a fast-paced black metal song, a short one for Winterfylleth standards. Dishonored Enthroned also has an epic feel with a war sound and an amazing fucking conclusion. Upon This Shore is another great song. Overall, this album is tight and cohesive. It's just that In Silent Grace bugged me a bit with the vocal change. I'm all ears if they do change their sound a bit. I'm glad the vocals aren't like that on every fucking song on the album. With this said, I confidently give this album an 80%. This is a pretty high score considering my scores are lower now. There have just been too many great fucking releases this year. Chris Norton's vocals on the album, The Imperious Horizon, are a standout features for their viciousness and emotional delivery. He utilises shrieks in a way that adds an electrifying and epic quality to every song on the album. His vocals are powerful and raw, adding grit and distortion to that overall production. His ability to convey emotion through his vocals, along with the intensity and energy he brings to each song, makes his vocal performance a highlight of the album. So, 80% I'm giving it. So next up is Eldamar and the album Astral Journeys Part 1, released on September 6th through Northern Silence Productions. So this Norwegian one-man band has produced his third studio album, and it's fine. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say this is the greatest thing ever since sliced bread. It's a fine album. Not good, not great, not bad, just fine. I enjoy Aldamar's other work, such as their last album, A Dark Forgotten Past. They really oh, my eyes are itchy. They really focus on atmosphere and utilize really nice synths. This album is similar to that one and the one before it. It features epic black metal and slow-paced arrangements of synths. Much of it is instrumental, and it conveys a sense of sadness and sorrow. However, there's one thing. I did find this album a bit boring. While I appreciate the melodies and Matthias's vicious vocals, it feels like the album doesn't go anywhere. Maybe I've become impatient in my old age, but I wanted more from this album. The final song, An Eternal Sorrow, stands out to me because it feels like I'm being sucked in a whirlwind of pain and fucking torture. It's slow and doomy, creating a sense of anticipation. First Sight of a New Realm is another highlight with its meaty riffs and harrowing vocals. Pretty sure that's a song. The album offers a lot of atmosphere, and the production quality is very good, immersing you in a different world surrounded by nature. I had high expectations for this album, to be honest, and unfortunately, I was a little bit disappointed in it. I'm leaning towards a 50% rating, right down the middle for me. It's fine, but I don't think I will listen to it ever again, to be truthful. However, if you listen to it before bed, you might enjoy it more. I did just that and fell asleep straight away. It's a good snooze fest. Well, here's an album that surpasses Eldamar. It's none other than the UK heavy metal band Satan and their album Songs in Crimson, released through Metal Blade Records on September 13th. Take a listen. This is a really good album, although not as outstanding as their last album, Earth Infernal, or their classic Caught in the Act. I particularly enjoy the unpolished production of this album, as it retains a raw quality reminiscent of 80s heavy metal. The album features great riffs and odd time signatures, especially evident in the first song, Frantic Zero. The guitars have a layer of distortion that adds depth. The drums sound organic, and the snare tone is excellent. Brian Ross's vocals are good, though not exceptional. They're a bit higher in the mix, but they blend well with the loud and heavy sound of the album. You even get some great high falsettos by Brian. He is still a very good vocalist. I can't say I've heard all their discography, but I know they are a pretty solid band. I didn't think I would like them as much as I did when I heard Caught in the Act, but Satan have managed to harness me with their infectious melodies and very good songwriting. I was hesitant to listen to this album because I thought I wouldn't like it, but behold I did, and it's a banger. Hall of Babylon marks a shift towards a more melodic direction with a standout chorus and impressive solos. The The album continues to excel with tracks like The Riff Heavy Martyrdom, Truth Bullet, and Deadly Crimson to close out the album. Satan has delivered a solid album, although some may not appreciate the production style. Personally, I enjoy the throwback to the unpolished sound of the 80s, which adds to the album's charm. This might just make it onto my favourites of September list, although there is another classic band that I will mention later on Discovery. I'm considering a rating of 70% for this album. While the first two songs may have felt somewhat disjointed, the rest of the album flows seamlessly, flows like water.
Golden halls, barricaded behind your door.
The Bulgarian band Grimaze released a sophomore album, The Heart of a Collapsing Star, independently on September 1st. The band reached out to me through email and wanted me to review their new album, sort of nagging me. So I said, yeah, why not? I get a lot of bands reaching out to me to review their new albums. I suppose Discovery is getting bigger every year, so I should expect that. Most of the time I don't think anybody's watching, but I digress. The new album, The Heart of a Collapsing Star, is very good. It features hard-hitting percussion mixed with distorted guitars and some really nice grooves. The album sounds intense at times and the production is quite good. It fits well with the genre like this, and it still has a raw and organic feel to it, which I like. Pavel Krumov, who does vocals, has some really intense aggression in his voice, which enhances the album. Harder Than Death is harder than death. It will knock the living fucking daylights out of you. The impactful snares like a gunshot at times, and I love the drum fills on this record. I did notice that this album is quite melodic and also quite dissonant, especially in different sections. There are breakdowns on this, and when they occur, they hit hard smack back in your face. There are some progressive flavors on this, especially on the first song, Liquid Chaos, and the middle of the album has awesome guitar slides similar to what Gajura does, and some great groovy riffs. The album just gets better and better in my opinion, especially the last song, Cosmic Solitude. This is a brilliant song with flourishing guitars, strong grooves, fast and slow paced aggression, and insane vocals. Honestly, I didn't expect to enjoy this as much as I did, but if you like death metal with a lot of groove, not like Wolverine blues groove, you will probably enjoy this. I'm scoring this at 70%. This is a really good album from start to finish. Definitely check out Grimaze. It has a really nice flow to it. I think most of you will enjoy this band from Bulgaria. Next up is a Russian death metal band, Autopsy, and they have just released a pummeling new record titled Necrosadist, which was released on September 15th through Soundage Productions. Take a listen. Well, this is a pretty heavy record by these fucking Russians. The guitar work is good, the riffs are beefy, and the production really highlights everything for the band. It still sounds dirty, and it's definitely not a clean production. There's certainly a grime in the layers. The vocals are very good on this. The death growls are great. This album reminds me of late Cannibal Corpse, and a bit of Suffocation, especially with the instrumentals. The riffs at times are infectious, and they do have some groove to them. Overall, I'm glad I checked this out because it's not one of the best death metal albums, but it's above average. There are even high screams on this, which was unexpected, making a fun record overall. It's brutal, in your face, wrapping up all up in 32 minutes. It does sound like a modern death metal album, but they add some ears are itchy now, but they add some old school elements with the riffing, especially with those vocals. The diverse vocals range from deep gutturals to high screams and even fucking low growls. There's a lot of technical prowess on this with great solos. Standout tracks like Silent Night with those pinch harmonics and meaty riffs, Juggler, a good song to kick off the album. Tormentor, with an insane drumming and vocals. Windmill of Death is like a wall of sound smashing into your fucking face. So overall, it's a good album, but not the best death metal album of the year. Come to think of it, I might score this a 65%. Comparing it to other death metal albums this year, like Necrod and Vitriol, this album doesn't come close. Sure, you can sound as heavy as you possibly can be, but is it going to be enjoyable for the listener? Yes or no? It's up to you. That's what you have to ask yourself. So 65% is fair. It's still a good rating. Horna released a new album, Nyx, and since I can't pronounce that other name, we'll just call it Nyx. The Finnish black metal band once again delivers masterful black metal with this release on September 13th through World Terror Committee. Interesting name. This is a fantastic album by Horna, though not their best. I'd say for somewhere in the mid-range of their discography, not as good as Iflos, that other album with Vihanti. Horna revisits their roots on this album, incorporating melodies reminiscent of the older works while still sounding fresh. The reduction quality is very good, striking a balance between organic and raw elements. Each instrument is distinct on this album with thunderous drumming and melodies that create a haunting atmosphere. The guitar tone and vocals delivered by the fantastic black metal vocalist Spalgoth stand out. His vocals are harrowing, aggressive, and disgusting, fitting well with the overall heaviness of the album. The album is structured as a suite, similar to what Maguire does with their albums. Tracks like Hymnejä 1-5 showcase great black metal elements, including tremolo picking blast beats and a nod to the old Scandinavian sound, while redefining Horna's sound for modern times. The songwriting may be simplistic, but it works well if you're a fan of black metal. You'll likely appreciate this album from the first song, which sets a strong tone for the rest of the album. Overall, the album is amazing and deserving of a high score. While not quite on par with Winterfylleth, I'd say it's close. Nyx may not be a modern classic, but it's another solid release from Horna. One surprising element is the very last song, where Horna takes a different approach by delivering a soft and soothing track to close the album. This black metal ballad, I'm going to call it black metal ballad, features mainly clean vocals, soft guitar tones, and a melodic acoustic feel. Spalgoth's vocals in this song are almost fucking angelic, making a departure from Horna's usual style. It's an intriguing experiment that works well as a unique and epic conclusion to the album. Considering all aspects of the album, including its innovation and modern sound, I would give Horna's Nyx a 75% rating. Alongside Winterfylleth, it stands out as one of the best black metal albums of the year, showcasing a different side of Horna with the unexpected soft ballad that closes the album. And now, our main event for this week's Discovery. Honestly, I don't think this band would headline the Discovery ever, but here we are. Are you ready? One album that surprised the hell out of me was the power of thrash metal band Flotsam and Jetsam, and the new album, I Am the Weapon. So what can I say about this one? It's pretty good. Honestly, I was surprised by how good this fucking album was. It could possibly make it to my end of year list. One thing that's got going for them is the fucking replay factor. I've played this album so many times. In fact, I somehow managed to get on my MacBook and order the thing so I could have it physically. The musicianship is tight on this, and the production is very good, especially when listening to this album on fucking headphones. Everything is punchy, slightly polished, but it works for the album. And don't get me started on Eric's vocals. It seems like every album they are getting better and better. Amazing solos on this, a great thrash metal record. And yes, I'm calling it great. This is probably one of the best thrash metal records of 2024. I love all these songs. Not only are they heavy and punchy, but they are fucking melodic and catchy, like the song Gates of Hell. Catchy chorus, but meaty riffs and a riveting guitar solo. I Am the Weapon will just knock you for six with the fucking impactful drumming and guitars alongside Eric's incredible vocals on this track. Not to mention he uses harsh vocals on this song, which escalates the song in the next level. Kings of the Underworld is another great song off this album with an infectious riff, and Cold Steel Light will certainly make you want to bang your head to that. Burned My Bridges has a power metal vibe to it, but amazing solos. Black Winds to close off the album is another thrash belter with great vocals and guitar, with the intro sounding epic and symphonic, close to some symphonic black metal band. The drumming by Ken Merry is great. I love the intricate fills and little ghost notes incorporated throughout the album. The production definitely carries the little intricacies, and I love the galloping riffs and drumming. Pretty cool. All being said though, I don't think this is a perfect album. There are some complications. It's fun, melodic, and catchy, and I'm probably going to give this a 75%. I can't give it any higher because my mind won't let me. All I can say is this is a really good album, close to great, but it's not as good as Winterfylleth or Horna. I prefer black metal over thrash, so it's getting a 75%. There are just a few weaker songs that come to mind, like Running Through the Fire and Primal, but Primal still fucking hits hard. Great album, 75%. So that's it for this week's discovery. Definitely check out all these 7 new albums. There's some really good stuff on here. If you don't, well, you're missing out. And don't come crying to me when you've missed out. I'll just shake my head and say, well, it was on Discovery, you retard. It's been fun, and I'll see you in the next one.